Okay, so Veterans Day has this weird vibe to it. You'll see it in ads, articles, TV, and more. Now, I'm a big football fan, so I watch the NFL a lot. You'll see tons of NFL commercials extolling veterans and thanking them for their service. You'll have pre-game celebrations where people are rolling out the American flag, and you have all these military members come out to the field and so on. Commentators are always talking about the veterans and bringing up these wholesome stories of sacrifice and heroism. It's pretty much everywhere and a common thing to do once Veterans Day rolls around. Well, on the surface, it doesn't seem out of the ordinary. Military members sacrificed and put their lives on the line for our freedom and our rights and so forth. Being in the military is tough. You're committing at least 4 years of your life to a physically and mentally demanding occupation, and you might even lose your life. But the more I think about this patriotic celebration of our veterans, and the more I witness these jovial proclamations of thanks to our veterans and how they defended our country and the like, the more uncomfortable I get. Almost to the point where I want to shut myself off from all of this. It might sound crazy, but let me just explain this to you. Now, one phrase that you'll hear a lot is, thank you for your service, or thanks for serving. I've heard it so many times that it's become nauseating. But you should be thankful, some might say. Yes, but this really begs the question, why? Or for what? Then it really gets interesting. Firstly, thank you for your service is so hollow and devoid of any meaning. It almost feels like some sort of moralistic gesture that you do or say if you have nothing better to offer. Meanwhile, we have around 40 to 70,000 homeless veterans on the streets. Thank you for your service runs empty when the media doesn't report on the costs of war, whether it's the $750 billion defense budget, the thousands and thousands of American casualties, civilian casualties in our wars, and so on. And to top it off, it's illegal to show a flag-draped coffin. It's completely absurd that we continue to have perpetual warfare, and it's caused so much destruction, and all we have to say is thank you for your service. This leads me to my second point. Thank you for what? Well, you'll hear politicians, journalists, pundits, people in the media, in the advertisements and marketing, and anyone out there saying things like, thank you for defending this country. Thank you for defending our freedoms, our rights, and our way of life. We're all just repeating this stuff like it's some sort of propagandistic statement. Let's talk about the first part, defending our freedom. First of all the stuff about defending this and that, well, who is attacking it? Who is threatening it? If we took a look at our military adventures in the past several decades, the Gulf War, war in Afghanistan, Iraq, Syria, Africa, Yugoslavia, and so on, who was trying to actively take away our freedoms? None of these countries or governments were trying to overthrow us or were trying to take away, our rights. We have the biggest, baddest army in the entire world. Who's going to mess with us? Now, obviously, Al-Qaeda attacked us on September 11th, but do they really have the military capability to destroy and undermine our government? I really don't think so. Now, I don't want to get into the argument of what a just war is or what an unjust war is, because there's so many different interpretations. We can, go on a philosophical argument, but just in terms of a direct offensive threat to the United States, I don't think any of these conflicts that we've been in the last several decades had that kind of threat level. Also, the word defending or protecting implies that we are under assault or we're being attacked. It implies that we're doing some kind of reactionary posture. Think about our military adventures in the last several decades. We've intervened in Libya, in Latin America, the Middle East, and so on and so forth. These are faraway countries and sovereign states. Are we really defending our freedoms and rights by offensively attacking countries thousands of miles away? Now, if you just think about these statements and just pull it one layer back, it should be immediately apparent that this is all weird and absurd. It's vague enough that statements like these connect and resonate with people and make us feel good and happy, but it really is wonky. Again, who's threatening our way of life? What does our way of life even mean? It's so vague and subjective that it could literally be anything. Now, I'm not criticizing individuals that join the army. After all, it's tough on the mind and body, and it's a 4-year commitment. People, end up joining the military because they see it as a way out of their current situation, whether it's poverty or uncertainty about life or what career you want to pursue, or they just want to learn a diverse set of skills. It's completely understandable. But at the same time, we have to think about the military as an institution that is a force of American imperialism. It occupies smaller, weaker countries to dominate them, to exploit the people, the resources, and markets for profit. It's absolutely nefarious. Although you could be a nice and honorable person, the military as a whole is just a political tool of American empire. It's like the institution of policing in some ways. Now, I know several police officers. I think many of them are genuinely good people that want to protect the community and protect public safety. But at the same time, the institution of policing is riddled with racism, unfair enforcement, and, importantly, their role in defending the status quo. Sure, police are just doing their jobs and, enforcing the law. But this includes even unjust laws. At every civil rights march, labor rights march, anti-war protests and the like, there were cops ready to make arrests and protect the system. They're essentially the first force that must be overcome when trying to force change on the system. It's the same thing with our military. You can be the nicest and kindest individual and have never shot a single bullet. But it's the institution of the military that has caused so much damage and suffering to populations around the world. This is why I've struggled with thinking about veterans and the military. Sure, I can say, I'm thanking our vets, but I don't support the war or American imperialism. But is the soldier complicit in the expansion of U.S. empire and the exploitation of other countries? I'm really not sure. And perhaps you guys can give me a different perspective or give me some nuance to this situation. Again, this isn't a knack against the hardships of being in the military or what it takes to succeed. But I sense that decoupling of the individual from the institution of the military allows someone to feel emotionally engaged with the individual while removing themselves from all the messy work of any possible critique of our military or our foreign policy. While this allows for acceptable social interaction with veterans and military members, it's really dangerous because the military, war, and foreign policy are political tools. The 19th century Prussian general Karl von Clausewitz famously said, "War is the continuation of politics by other means." So in this political act of using war, we have to question it because there's going to be consequences, there's going to be people affected, there's going to be different relationships between power and those who have it and do not have it. So it's a political action, and we always have to examine it and question it. Another thing that irks me is the relentless displays of patriotism and military might. And this applies to like July 4th and Fleet Week as well. You'll have, presentation of the flags, the colors, jet flyovers, helicopter flyovers, military marches, and whatnot. It makes you feel good and appreciative of the military. But these celebrations of the military and service members leads one to forget the savage and brutal legacy of American foreign intervention. We're here supporting the troops, and halfway across the globe, we're drone striking individuals with the casualties being 90% civilian. This praise of the military is borderline worship. We're quick to judge the orchestrated displays of military power in countries like North Korea, China, or the former Soviet Union, but we hardly bat an eyelash when we espouse great love and devotion to our military veterans as if they were the spawn of Kim Jong-un himself. Now, in conclusion, we must lead with compassion and a sense of justice and a love for humanity as part of our values. This includes assisting our veterans with housing, addressing mental illness and substance use, and having them reintegrate into society in a healthy and positive way. But it doesn't include just taking care of our vets. We have to apply these values to our foreign policy and how we utilize our military as well. We shouldn't hesitate to critique and call out American imperialism and our heavy-handed foreign policy, which aims to sacrifice American lives for corporate profits. Ultimately, this carries the need for a critique of capitalism and how profit has become the sole driving force in our politics and our everyday transactions.